Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to The It Factor, blessing the airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Happy Monday. Ready to kick off your week. I'm feeling really good because you know what? It was a great weekend for me. I'm your boy, the Mad Hatter. We are the SBTV Nation. We are live on all the social media outlets, including Twitter. And I'm looking forward to going back and forth with you guys today, man, because you know what? It's going to be a good week. And I am getting ready to go on a cruise. I'm leaving this Saturday, and I'm going for like a week, a little over a week. I'm going to Haiti, Jamaica, and Mexico on Cinco de Mayo. So pretty excited about that. And you know what? Just right smack in the middle of the NBA playoffs. I'm not sure if you guys caught all the games yesterday because, I mean, it was going all day long. There was 4 total. But, you know, I just want to talk a little bit about it and just so we can have a conversation moving forward where there's some good spots to make some money on. First things first, Cleveland Cavaliers go into Indiana and sweep the Pacers. So now the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to kind of chill, all right, just as they always do every single year. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be waiting for, I believe, the winner of the, let's just see, I believe it's the winner of the Bucks and Raptors series, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just pull it up here. Yeah, so the Cleveland Cavaliers are sitting there right now at 4-0. Obviously, waiting for the Toronto Raptors and Milwaukee Bucks, and that series is tied 2-2. So you know what? If that goes 6 or 7 games, Cleveland Cavaliers are probably watching every single game front to back and just plotting and waiting. And obviously, they have these teams' numbers. So, honestly, I can see the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals yet again. I've got them going to the finals, guys. But you know what? I think that this team, listen, you know what? During the regular season, they have their ups and downs, okay? We've seen it time and time again. I've been watching LeBron James all his career, okay? And it's just the way it goes. You got to remember something. This is the best player in the planet, period. I mean, I know that, listen, there's some guys out there. I mean, you know, you talk about Harden, you talk about Westbrook, you talk about Kawhi Leonard. I mean, there are some really stellar players, but in my opinion, I don't think any of them compare to LeBron James, period. I mean, just the way he plays defense, his block shots, he hits threes, he's just so strong. I mean, he goes to the hole. I mean, this guy is one of the best, if not the best. I don't want to say best of all time. I don't want to go that far because we have MJ in the equation, but I definitely think he's better than Kobe was. Absolutely. I mean, and every year this guy is he's in the finals every single year. I think this will be 7 years straight if he makes it. That's something to take a look at, guys. You know what? Whether you love him or hate him, LeBron James is one hell of a basketball player. So, you know what? Like I said, they are patiently waiting here for the Raptors or the Bucks. Those two play tonight. And quite frankly, one of them is a pretty heavy favorite, and we're going to talk about it moving on in the show. Just seeing everybody on Twitter. I got Fast Eddie, Mario Martinez, my man Bud Chedda's out there, Key MVU. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Monday show. Let's go over and talk about the Houston Rockets and the OKC Thunder. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I think the Rockets aren't bad. Call me crazy, and I haven't given them credit all year long. I haven't done it. So I stand corrected on this. But obviously, I mean, clearly OKC doesn't really have many scoring options. We know that. But the Houston Rockets, I mean, to go in there and win, this team might be a problem. Can this team, the Houston Rockets, knock off the San Antonio Spurs? Can they do it? Normally, I'd say no. And I should say no. And I probably will say no. However, the way I'm seeing the San Antonio Spurs play in this series, Kawhi Leonard's a phenom. Aldridge is a hell of an athlete. But the rest of the supporting cast, they're not the youngest guys in the world here. If Houston goes on a tear and starts hitting those threes, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a really long series. 6-7 games, wearing each other out. I wouldn't be surprised, guys. I don't know what their record is versus each other this year, but I can tell you this much. I think Houston could challenge the Spurs. I really do. And I haven't given Houston credit at all, but I think D'Antonio is really doing a hell of a job there. And I mean, he's an offensive-minded coach. So when I look at this here, the Houston Rockets, honestly, and it's crazy I'm saying this, I don't think they're a horrible bet here. I know they're going to get past OKC. We all know that. Unless they blow a 3-1 lead, which I don't see. And I think they could challenge the Spurs. I really do. So now that puts them versus, I mean, we all know Golden State's most likely going to get out of the Portland series. I mean, they're up 3-0 right now. So that's something to take a look at. But they might be without Steve Kerr. He's got an illness. So he might be sitting out the playoffs here. So I don't know, man. I mean, hey, maybe a little shot, maybe a little dark horse there being the Houston Rockets in the West. I've watched the 3 games front to back now, guys. Actually, 4 games. And I'm starting to see a little something here. They don't play defense. We know that. But I'm starting to see a little something out of this Houston Rocket team. I got to be honest with you. Something I haven't seen before. Going over to the East, let's have a conversation real quick about the Celtics who went in and laid the smackdown on the Rondo-less Bulls. Celtics are up basically as far as the odds are concerned right now to win this series. I still say this Celtics team is small. They're super small, okay? The rebounding prowess is not all there. I think the team that can challenge the Celtics in the next round is not the Wizards. It's the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks need to get out of that series. They get out of that series as a 5 seed. Honestly, I truly feel that you could see Atlanta beat the Celtics. I don't know if they could beat the Wizards in this series. I don't know. And I'm pretty confident they could beat the Bulls in the next series if they get by. But they got to win tonight. You have to win the game at home. You win the game at home, your series is tied 2-2. Then you just got to steal one in Washington. That's it. And to be honest with you, I mean, we saw it. They were up in, I believe, one or if not both of those Washington games. I think Atlanta could do well. I really do. Do I think they could beat Cleveland? Most likely not. But I did punch in a ticket where it's 150-1 for this team to win the East. All I need them to do is get to the final versus Cleveland, which I don't see it being Toronto or Milwaukee. There's just no way. Then I'm in a really good position right there. So that is something, guys. Listen, I've been doing it for a little while now. So that's something that I'm looking at. I think that the Atlanta Hawks are a dark horse. And I think the Houston Rockets are a dark horse. And for those two teams to play each other, I want to say, dude, it's something crazy. It's like 1,900-1 or something like that. It's something absolutely outrageous. But maybe not. Maybe not. Atlanta Hawks, let's just take a look at it here. Where are you? Atlanta Hawks versus the Spurs. It's 1,800-1. For every dollar you put up, you win $1,800. All you need is these teams to advance pretty far. Okay? $100 pays $180,000. I've been known to throw money away at crazy stuff like that. But that's a game changer, I think, right? I mean, $180,000. I don't think any of you guys would mind getting that payout or even getting half of that or even a quarter of it. If these teams make it to their conference championships. Something to take a look at, guys. But I don't know. My man Fast Eddie, what do you got here? You are on the Blazers tonight and the Hawks, huh? That is probably a super parlay. That probably pays nuts. I would think that pays, 5-1, 6-1, something like that? Hey, I wish you the best of luck there. As far as the rest of this stuff, man, I don't see, when we talk about the Clippers in Utah, there's been times where Blake wasn't in the lineup for the Clippers. And the Clippers were actually better at times. Better numbers, I should say. Better on paper. I don't want to say a better team, but I wasn't all concerned with Blake out of the lineup, to be honest with you. They showed me a lot. The problem is at the end that Jazz defense basically dug their heels in and held the Clippers to 18 points in the fourth quarter. That's why they won the game. I was up late watching it, guys. It was a good game. Just the Jazz, they started hitting threes, and you get a good defensive team that can hit threes. It's tough. It's tough to beat them. But I don't think the Jazz or the Clippers are going to get out of the next series, especially if they're playing the Golden State Warriors. And it's probably most likely not going to be Portland. But if anybody's ballsy enough to go take Portland, hey, I wish you the best of luck. Clarence Jones Show. What's going on, brother? How are you? I will follow you back. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning into our program. So, you know what? That's it for the NBA. We're going to get into tonight's matchups, guys. But I just want to talk real quick. We have the NHL playoffs among us. And there are some new series coming out, okay? And this is the second round of the NHL playoffs. And I'm taking a look at it here, and I know that there's a massive, massive series in the East going on. And that pits the Washington Capitals versus the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, we had the Hockey Immortal on here saying that he was all about the Pittsburgh Penguins to win the Stanley Cup. I don't have an opinion on it, guys. They're actually an underdog versus the Washington Caps, believe it or not. So, do you feel froggy enough to get the Pittsburgh Penguins? Plus 120 on the series. Wow. I can tell you this much, that the St. Lucia Blues were the biggest underdog in the NHL playoffs. They were the biggest one at the beginning of the NHL playoffs in the last series. That's what it was. They are plus 105 to win this series coming up, guys. So, I don't know. If you're feeling them versus the Predators, you can get plus money at that point. My man Joseph Del Rosario taking the White Sox unders. Congratulations, man. Those were always popping last year. We loved them. Moving on here to the rest of the NHL, you got the Edmonton Oilers who are playing the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, and the Ducks are minus 125. And then you got the New York Rangers, believe it or not, are minus 145 versus the Ottawa Senators. So those are your top 8 teams all playing each other right now. So the way the odds makers see it, Preds, Ducks, Rangers, and Caps. That's how the odds makers see it. Do I see it that way? Couldn't tell you. I'm not a hockey guy. Just basically giving you a little bit of information to put in your pipe and smoke, guys. One more thing. I want to recap what went on in the Major League Baseball diamond yesterday. Okay? I want to talk to you about something. So I've been going back and forth with Dr. Dan about this. Obviously, you know, he's the big baseball guy here. Okay? But I got to be honest with you. When you take teams on Sundays, okay, you have sometimes home field with underdogs. But on Sundays, some of the favorites take their foot off the gas. Okay? Doc and I have been going back and forth, and he actually has some trends that support this. But I want you to understand something, that yesterday, plus 150 or higher underdogs went 2-1 yesterday. Okay? Now, I know that the Cincinnati Reds, because I was on them, was plus 162. And then I'm scrolling down. I hit the White Sox, I believe, I got to check my book, but I believe it was a plus 190. That puts me at 3.5 units. And then I lost the Royals. So that's 2.5 units on the day if you put 1 unit on each play. Honestly, guys, I got to be honest with you. I have never really played dogs like this before, and I've been gambling a long time. I've been doing this, God, what am I? Over 20 years. Okay? I've been gambling on sports. I don't do it as heavy as I used to. I do it basically for recreational purposes at this point. But I am out there trying to make money. Okay? And I do hand plays every once in a blue moon. Okay? I do it. You guys know it because I'm clear about it and I talk about it on the show. But I got to be honest with you. When you have two professional teams, especially in baseball, you got 162 games. I don't care who's pitching. All it takes is one swing at a bat with your eyes closed to hit a ball out of the park at times. You know what I mean? You could have Kershaw could load the bases and somebody hits a grand slam. Bang. Now you're up 4. You know what I mean? Anything could happen here. So what I'm trying to get at is basically I'm really, really, really starting to feel dogs in baseball. And I think that getting punched in the and I think by getting punched in the face by favorites so much over the years has really made me open my eyes. Because you could bet 4 games with dogs, and if you go 2-2, you're plus money. And if you're taking the favorites, you're down. Something to think about, guys. I'm not telling you to take underdogs. Listen, you're going to lose more than you win with underdogs. It all evens itself out. But if you can methodically do it and come up with some kind of system or something like that, I think you'll be in really good shape. Because it's the teams that give a lot of juice are the ones that kill you. And it's the ones that I see it. There are people out there. There's people that have made a living with chase systems, okay? Chase systems don't work. You're eventually going to get bit in the ass. But with their chase systems, what they do is that they take these heavily juiced favorites. And I want you to think about this. You have a minus 200, okay? So you have, let's call it because they love to lose. Let's talk about the San Francisco Giants. They throw Bumgarner on the bump. Okay, so now they got Bumgarner, Cueto, and the rest of the cast of characters, okay? Bumgarner's a minus 200. So you got to lay 200 to make $100. Well, he doesn't have a good outing that day. And the San Francisco Giants bullpen lets up a few runs. And they lose to the Padres, let's say. Now you're down 200. Okay? Down 200. I laid 200 to make 100. Whatever. So now let me take the next game. Let me take the San Francisco Giants yet again with Cueto on the bump. Cueto's minus 140. So now I'm down 200. I got to lay 280 just to make my 200 back. But since I'm a chase player, I want to make my $100. So instead of 200, I want to make 300. So that means I got to lay 420 to make $300. Well, Cueto comes out and gets blown up. Gives up 8 runs in 2 innings. And the San Francisco Giants lose the game. Now you're down the 200 originally with Bumgarner. Now you're down the 420 with Cueto. You're down 620 in 2 games. So since I'm a chase player, not only do I want to make my 620 back, but now I want to make another 100 on top of it. So now I want to make 720. And another pitcher in the San Francisco Giants rotation comes to the bump. And you know what? Since I'm playing the Giants, I'm going to keep going. So now I got to make 720. And this one's minus 120, let's say. You're laying like $800 to make your 620. And God forbid you lose. What I'm getting at, guys, is that it can get very, very expensive when you're playing favorites in baseball and you're doing chase systems. Listen, I'd rather do chase systems with dogs all day long, to be honest with you. I mean, you could have chased the Reds the other day versus the Cubs, and the Reds did have leads in a couple of those games and lost. But at the end of the day, you got your Sunday plus 162, and it made it work. So, listen, I will dive deeper into this with the Evil Genius, okay? We're going to do this when he comes back. Now, I'm going to be gone next Saturday. I'm going to be out. So I'm not going to be on the show. I'm not going to be on the show Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm going to be gone the whole week. I will be out there. I will be posting pictures online on Twitter and stuff like that of the sports books that I'm wagering in and all that good stuff. I am going to do that. But you know what? I don't know, because you know what? If I win a wager and then the cruise takes off, I won't be able to collect. So that's probably not a good idea, to be honest with you. But anyway, when I get back, myself and the Evil Genius will really dissect this, because I think this is something that, you know, once you get beat enough times, guys, you won't do the same thing twice. Frank Vinculato, Giants can't hit anyone now. Plus, it's only a matter of time until Kane has a bad outing. Would stay away from my boys tonight, in my opinion, being the San Francisco Giants. Well, dude, they just lost 8-0 to the Colorado Rockies yesterday. So you know what? They also have a 6-13 record. Nah. Not taking the San Francisco Giants. Not going to do it. So, you know what? There's really nothing on God's green earth that you can convince me to take the Giants right now. One more thing I do want to share with you guys is that if you have a team that's on the road up until Sunday, okay, then they come home for the Monday night game, sometimes they have a hard time. And at that point, they're favored. So we're going to take a look at that stuff. I can tell you that the teams that were on the road yesterday were the Cubs, the Astros, the Red Sox, the Braves, the Yankees, the Cleveland Indians, the St. Lucia Cardinals, the Tigers, the Royals, the Giants, the Blue Jays, the Mariners, the Dodgers, the Marlins, and the Nationals. So today, when we look at what's going on, you got to see if you can find any of those teams, which I see the Giants sticking right out at me. The problem is the Dodgers are minus 143, and I'm not trying to lay that kind of juice with the Dodgers. Just not doing it. So, you know what? Maybe if there was a better stop, we could have did this. Let's see. Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. What's up, guys? How are you? I'm glad to have some of these other podcast shows reaching out to us, man. Thank you very much, guys. We appreciate it. I'm just going to put thanks on my thing here. Doing a little Spreaker message, guys. So what we usually do is we usually do this on Twitter, but you know, there's also a thing where you can communicate with us. It's like a chat box or something like that on Spreaker. It's kind of cool. So you know what? Hey, guys, thank you very much for tuning into our show. We appreciate it. Here's what we do. Basically, we go into real life. We talk about sports. We talk about gambling on sports. We talk about women. We talk about all the fun stuff in life here, man. So it is what it is. Guys, I think it's about that time that we get into what's going on tonight. I got to be honest with you. Yesterday, I think I had a record fast show. I think it was 7 minutes. I could be wrong, but I want to apologize about that. Okay? I'm on a really serious diet right now that it messes with my stomach. And you know what? I felt fine as soon as I came on the air. As soon as I hit the record button, the bathroom was calling. So I had to cut out, guys. So I apologize about that. So trying to give you a little bit more information today. And I hope you're out there finding it useful. Because you know what? I'm looking forward to making some money here. Listen, we have about 30 minutes before the NBA playoffs start tonight, okay? So you got 30 minutes to put your plays in. And I'm going to look right at it because we got 3 games tonight. One at 7, one at 8, and one at 10:30. We got the Milwaukee Bucks at the Toronto Raptors, okay? The Toronto Raptors are up in this series, as you know. So, you know what? Hey, are any of you guys going to be taking the dog tonight? So let's pull this up here. You got an under-over of 191.5. You got Toronto minus 5.5. Okay, that's right on the cusp. Guys, I've done the homework. I've done the research. It's over 95% of the time. 95%. 1 out of every 20 bets you'll lose. Where a favorite of 5 points or less covers the spread. Okay? But then this one goes to 5.5. So you can make the decision. Do you want to buy it down? It's probably expensive. Or do you want to take a shot with the dog? One or the other. Milwaukee is 5-2 against the spread in the last 7 games. The total has gone under in 7 of the last 9 games. And the total has gone under in 4 of the last 5 Toronto games. Toronto is 14-4 straight up in their last 18. And Milwaukee, believe it or not, on the road has covered the spread 70% of the time in the last 10 games. What do you want to do? You want to take a shot with the dog? Because honestly, I think the Bucks are the better team. I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, plugging the Bucks tonight. I'm not doing it. Okay. Do I think they can get out of this series? It's a very strong possibility. I'm going to tell you why. All they got to do is win one more game in Toronto. That's it. Okay. If they can get this game, I believe they got a pretty good shot. But I mean, that's common sense, obviously. But I really think they're a really solid team. I think this team is young, hungry, and aggressive. Jason Kidd's got these kids playing out of their mind right now. Plus 5.5. Do I want to take the dog? It's not enough points. If I was able to get this, if it was 7, maybe I'd take a shot. But the only thing that could be apropos here is a total being 191.5. Based on the trends, a lot of these games between these two teams, whether they're playing each other or somebody else, have gone under. So, you know what? Been playing a lot of defense lately. Both of them. Good luck, guys. Let me know if you're on something, because for me, I'm not. Next one on the ticket, you got the Washington Wizards at the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta minus 2.5. Under over of 211.5. Now, this is a situation that you don't mess with the points. You either money line one side or the other. Remember what I said, 95% of the time, if it's 5 or less, the team covers or loses, one or the other. I like the Atlanta Hawks again. I like the Atlanta Hawks with Millsap, Dwight Howard down low. The guard play and John Wall is out of his mind, insane for the Washington Wizards. I get it. But this kid Schroeder's not bad for Atlanta. He does take some bad shots at times, but you know what? Getting the Atlanta Hawks, gotta feel like their backs are against the wall here still, because they're down 2-1 in this series. And I do have them to win the East at 150-1 like a maniac that I am. But I like Atlanta to get it done. I'm going to plug Atlanta here. Okay, that's where I'm at. Let's see. Joe Everett. Why am I blocked? Amy Davis. I don't know. I have no idea why you're blocked. Are you somebody else? All right. Barbershop Talk, Sports Talk. I'm sorry, I keep butchering your name, man. Says that the Bucks are the better team. I believe the Raptors are going to win the series. Love Greek. The Greek Freak. Need everybody to stop calling me right now. I'm trying to make money here. But, hey, man, I agree with you, Barbershop. I believe that they are the better team. I just can't do it tonight. I can't. I'm going to wait till it comes back to Milwaukee. I think that's a better spot because, guys, we get them at like -1 at home. It's so much better. Looking at the other game we got on the ticket here, we got the Golden State Warriors -7.5 with an under-over of 220.5. Anybody interested in taking the Blazers money line? Plus 250. Who put it on my Twitter page? Who was it? Fast Eddie was on that. Dude, you know what? I'm with you. Let's take the Blazers plus 250 on the money line. Throw a few bucks at it. Why not? I don't know, man. I mean, you know what? They should have won the last game. They gave up a 19-1 run versus the damn Golden State Warriors, which I'm getting sick of watching them, by the way. I do. Listen, I have them to play the Cavs. It was only -150. It was a great bet. In my opinion, I think it was a great bet. But to back myself up, I may take a shot with the Rockets. I may take a shot with, I did take a shot with Atlanta. And maybe get one more team involved there. But I think I got to go Blazers with you, dude. Golden State has every ability to cover the spread. So I don't like the spread. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to go money line. So let's do it, man. Let's take the Blazers plus 250 on the money line. Fast Eddie, I'm with you. Let's get that done. Okay? So that's pretty much going to do it for the NBA playoffs, guys. You got an under-over of 220.5 here. Don't like the total. I think the Trailblazers could sneak a game. I really do. Hey, listen, all we need, honestly, is a tight game going into the end of the fourth quarter, and we're in the money because you could live wager the other way if you want. So something to take a look at there, boys and girls. All right, so let's go over to Major League Baseball and have a quick conversation about some games that are going on today. First things first, I don't see any very heavy underdogs, okay? I do, well, actually, no, let me rephrase that. Washington Nationals are putting Ross on the bump here, and they are a plus 140 dog, but they're not over plus 150, so I'm not going to mess with it. But, playing in Colorado's been the surprise of the Major League Baseball here, guys. I'm not going to get involved with it, but I can understand you taking the Nationals. I can. All right. Let's see. Moving on to the rest of it here. How many games we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. The only spot that I could possibly consider. Well, the only team that I think would probably win tonight as a favorite could be the Dodgers, but I'm not doing that. There's no way. No way in hell. Looking at the rest of it here, I mean, nothing's really tickling my fancy. I could tell you this much, though. The Chicago Cubs, if you're down, if you bet the Cubs and you're down in the latter innings of their game, don't panic. Just go back and look at the box score over the last 2 weeks. They have come back, guys, 3 times and won their games. Once they scored 4 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Another game, they scored 3 in the top of the 9th inning. And then I forgot what the other one was. But listen, you're never down and out with the Cubs. If anything, if you're doing live wagering, you wait for them to go down and take them at plus, 700 or something like that, something crazy. No Bryce Harper tonight for the Nationals. All right, Joe Everett. Well, thank you very much. And I wasn't planning on messing with them, but that's really good to know. The Rays, where are you on? Who you on? You're on the Rays, Reds, and Rockies. Okay. Oh, Reds first 5. Yeah. Is it the Reds? No, I'm sorry. Rays, Reds, Rockies, Rays first 5. You know what? That Cincinnati Reds bullpen. Oh, my God. How awful are they? Bad. So, guys, listen, you know what? I'm looking at this, and I don't see any baseball. I'm going to take my shots with the NBA. I'm going to take my shot here with the Portland Trailblazers on the money line. Call me nuts. It's plus 250. You know what? Why not? If I lose, I lose. Hey, listen, you know what? If I win, it's 2.5 bets. I mean, it's awesome. So that's what I'm going to get involved in tonight. I'm not going to get involved with the spread. Okay? Call me nuts. Tail me. Fade me. Do whatever the hell you want to do. I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me. This is just where I'm at and where my money's going tonight. And I think that is going to do it for sports, guys. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the NFL with Adrian Peterson is expected to sign with the Saints. So that should make a very interesting matchup on week 1 when the Saints actually play the Vikings. That should be good. But that's going to do it for me, guys. And I'm going to get out of here because I need to put my plays in. Especially that. Well, the Blazers doesn't start till late, but whatever. It is what it is. But I'd like to thank everybody. You know what? Listen, I'm a very, 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 very busy guy. Okay, I work literally some weeks 70 hours, some weeks 80 hours. Like, no BS. That's real talk. I need a vacation, and I'm going on it next week. I really do. I got to get away. I've had so far I've had a stellar year, so I'm very blessed and happy and humbled, but I work for it. And you know what? I haven't gone on a cruise in like 7 years, so you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to be in Mexico for Cinco de Mayo, and I'm going to be in Jamaica trying to find their finest herb I can to have a ball with that. Hopefully I don't get mugged out there. But I want to thank everybody out there. Vegas Jack, Vegas Girl, 92661, my man Direct Sports Solutions, Terrence Mack, Robert McFalls, JC, hashtag SBTV Nation, my boy, Joseph Del Rosario, Cash Action Bets, Key MVU, Fast Eddie 72, Mario Martinez, my Costa Rica connection. Joe Everett says, great show. Dude, thank you so much, man. You know, by myself, listen, I'm really enjoying this right now. It's real talk. Just trying to talk my plays out with the nation. So, guys, we love you to death. All right? Big ups to Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Big ups to the Clarence Jones Show, Amy Davis, Joe Everett, the whole package. Guys, we love you to death. Go out there, grab the world by the balls, and get that money. Let's go.